What if you woke up to a nightmare where your friendly neighbor, without warning, brandishes a knife against you? Greetings everyone, I'm Tris. Today, we're unraveling the historical tapestry of a genocide, one that echoed across the plains of Rwanda and left indelible scars on its people. Imagine the chilling realization that those orchestrating these atrocities bear no personal vendetta against you. If you find this video interesting, it would be great if you could support us by hitting the like button. Now, let's get started. In this episode, we dive deep into the historical progression that led to the horrifying genocide in Rwanda. We'll dissect the role of European colonial powers in igniting the ethnic tension that eventually exploded into unthinkable violence by tracing the roots of the conflict. We'll explore how divisions were systematically nurtured and exploited, and how the lives of an estimated 500,000 to 800,000 people were lost in just 100 days. The complexity of the situation in Rwanda can be traced back to approximately 140 years ago, when European countries started outlining the boundaries of Africa, carving it up piece by piece, without any consideration for the people that were already living there. This is the dark legacy of colonialism that had far-reaching consequences for the continent and its people. As for Rwanda, it fell under the control of Germany. Pre-colonial Rwanda was a kingdom. Despite certain shared cultural aspects, including language, religion, and intermarriage, the relationships between the Tutsis and the Hutus were complex. They coexisted peacefully for the most part, but their dynamics were more nuanced than often perceived. The European colonizers, however, didn't see the peaceful coexistence. Instead, they saw divisions and differences that could be exploited for their benefit. Following the defeat of Germany in World War I in 1918, control over Rwanda transitioned from Germany to Belgium. The Belgians exacerbated these divisions, attributing false narratives to the origins and relationships between the Tutsis and Hutus, instigating an ethnic chasm where none had existed before. They crafted a narrative which claimed that the Tutsis, having lighter skin and more Eurocentric features, were superior to the Hutus. They suggested that the Tutsis were descendants of a distinct group, and used this idea to further divisions, portraying the Tutsis as having historically dominated both themselves and the Hutus. This myth, while now thoroughly debunked, served the Belgians' purpose, and they manipulated this story to shape Rwanda's social system to their liking. Through various discriminatory policies, they turned the Tutsis into the elite class. They gave them more political power and preferential treatment in taxation and education, and established ethnic grouping with the use of aid. Although these moves were designed to ease the burden on Belgium, they planted the seeds of discord that would bear bitter fruits in the years to come. As World War II ended, the winds of change began blowing across Africa. Nations, once held in the grip of European colonial powers, began to clamor for independence. Amidst this atmosphere of rebellion, the previously marginalized Hutus in Rwanda started to voice their discontent. The Hutus, who had felt suppressed by the Tutsi-dominated social structure, sought liberation not just from European colonialism, but also from what they perceived as Tutsi oppression. They used the Europeans' narrative that the Tutsis were the latecomers and had usurped Rwanda from the original inhabitants. This sentiment culminated in a revolution, leading to the overthrow of the Tutsi government, and ultimately, Rwanda's independence from Belgium. However, the road to independence did nothing to address the deep-seated ethnic divisions sown by the Europeans. The resentment between the Hutus and Tutsis did not simply dissipate. Instead, it lingered and festered, eventually sparking a devastating genocide. In the post-independence era, the tables turned. The Hutus, now in power, began a vicious cycle of oppression against the Tutsis, becoming the very thing they once resented. As a result, many Tutsis fled Rwanda to escape persecution, seeking refuge in neighboring countries. But they did not find peace in these foreign lands. And after more than 2 decades of exile, They rallied and launched an attack on their homeland in 1990, igniting a civil war. Despite 3 years of brutal conflict, there was a glimmer of hope when a compromise was reached. Unfortunately, the promise of peace was short-lived, as extremist Hutus, opposed to any form of reconciliation, launched attacks against Tutsis, accusing them of conspiring to regain control of Rwanda. The tension escalated rapidly and dramatically, leading to an unthinkable event. On April 6, 1994, the president's plane was shot down, instantly killing him. The radical Hutus used this as a pretext, blaming the Tutsis for the president's assassination and triggering the start of an all-out massacre against them. They embarked on a chilling campaign to eliminate the cockroaches, a derogatory term for Tutsis. These horrors persisted for about 100 days, claiming the lives of at least 500,000 to 800,000 people, a shockingly high casualty rate even by historical standards. Yet, as Rwanda descended into a bloody abyss, the international community remained largely inactive. For most nations, Rwanda unfortunately did not command sufficient strategic or economic interest to compel intervention, a faraway land of no strategic or economic importance to them. Despite the presence of a United Nations peacekeeping force in Rwanda, no decisive action was taken to prevent or halt the genocide. The United Nations was there primarily to facilitate reconciliation and peace between the Hutus and Tutsis, not to intervene in their domestic affairs. When the genocide started, the United Nations forces could only evacuate non-Rwandan foreigners, leaving the local Rwandans to their fate. As a result, Rwanda was essentially abandoned by the international community during its darkest hour. Despite this, the Tutsi forces managed to turn the tide of the civil war, ultimately defeating the Hutu government forces and bringing an end to the genocide. This victory, however, marked the beginning of a daunting task of rebuilding a nation fractured by ethnic hatred and bloodshed. Today, the Rwandan government has embarked on a mission to eradicate the ethnic divisions of its past, striving to build a society where all Rwandans, regardless of their ethnic origins, can live and work together in peace. This is the story of Rwanda, a country that has emerged from the ashes of a tragic past and is now referred to as the miracle of Africa. It serves as a poignant reminder of the horrors of genocide and the enduring human spirit that can rise above such atrocities. It's also a stark reminder of the heavy price that nations can pay when the international community turns a blind eye to their suffering. Ultimately, the Tutsis regained control, ending the massacres. Today, Rwanda has made significant strides in fostering unity and banning all forms of discrimination. However, the aftermath of the genocide remains complex. Rwanda today grapples with the dual task of fostering unity and addressing criticisms around governance, freedom of speech, and addressing allegations of war crimes committed during the conflict. While Rwanda has come a long way since those dark days, the ghosts of its past serve as a chilling reminder of the cost of international apathy. The heartrending story of Rwanda underscores the importance of the international community's responsibility to intervene during genocides. It's a bitter testament to our collective failures and a call to action to ensure that such horrors remain forever consigned to the pages of history. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. Take care and see you in the next video. Goodbye.